Hello everybody, good evening. So this is the email today. Email video email. Look, this is the stack. Is this possible to see? This is my desk. As you can see, it's a lot of paperwork. And there's more paperwork. And so I'm closing Friday and I need to really do the report. This is also more paperwork. This is just my office in Europe, okay? Because I have offices in the USA. And in the USA, I have a lot of other documents, but like a lot, because I'm on business as LEGroup for 12 years. So, what I'll try to be fast. As you can see, I'm very tired. I'm very tired. All these lawsuits, it's a lot of emotional problem to me, and as a victim. But I have to give updates, and for those who don't know yet, to work with all these cases is like working with a cadaver for me. It's like there's a dead body there of your son, your daughter, and you're there. No, I know, because this part of her body was this, because this was mutilated. So it's the big picture is criminal, okay? I'm just saying because when you go through all the emails and all the paperwork, I just say paperwork because it's several different institutions and police officers, embassies. You need to be reporting everything to so many different. And so then when I go through the paperwork, there's emails. It's like, and then it comes all the memories. Then you see the first email. Let's talk first about the slate. This week we've been working more with the slate business. This goes back to this particular case of looting, but I have other cases. I have cases all my life, okay? And this week, slate first. The slate business through Brazil and the USA. So we did a new batch of documentations, the paperwork, and the week before was Texas and cheese. This week is more slate. Slate is different states. It's Wisconsin, Texas, Ohio, Kentucky, Missouri, like I know, Minas Gerais, Brazil, Wisconsin, and so we put in all the whole thing together. And then it's very obvious, okay? There's the first contact from this individual in Brazil. He was my intern in 2004. So I trained this guy who was a student, and I trained him because I was hired by Brian Phillips, who was the customer in the USA. I was hired by Giuseppe Doimo, is the owner of the furniture manufacturing, and Vittorio Arata is the owner of the slate, and all of them, they had this project of moving all this manufacturing from Italy to Brazil, and I was the one coordinated the whole thing. I was just back from my MBA in Germany, and I was doing all that. So, and I trained this guy. So now this guy is there. That's his career. He's the export guy. The invoices he uses are the one that I created. I didn't copy. I made them from scratch. That's a blank spreadsheet, and I created some model, not only for his company, but a lot of different companies that I work in my career and my own company. Okay. Which is LEGroup Industries. And then, all right, so that was what happened this week. We did more paperwork, and we filed in more agencies, regulated. This is more American and Brazilian. There is documents also in Brazil that we're doing. So there's documents in Brazil, local documents, it's not in Portuguese, a lot of paperwork. And so it's moving, and we're doing calls. It seems the defendant said they're going to pay today. So we're just waiting. I just checked the bank account. There's no deposit yet. And I'll explain. The friendly agreement that I did to these people once they committed all those crimes against me in 2018, which is there's elements of looting, fraud, embezzlement, theft, slandering, defamation, the whole thing they did against me to catch all my contracts, it's still everything. I think that sometimes they don't even know what they're doing, but whatever. Like so, it was a $1.5 million contract, only the slate business. Okay, so so they managed to get to whatever. So one of the main points is that there's things with file in Brazil and in the USA. And my agreement on a civil matter was, I don't know the whole mess. I'm done. I'm out. I understand these people don't want me, okay? Because you guys don't know what I've been through last year. All sorts of insults, offenses, accusations, judgments of my character, who I am, who I don't am, from guys that I gave them a job, that I was hiring, that I was paying, that I was giving them training, explaining, like, and then now that I go through the main emails, okay, that are being filed already in different jurisdictions. You see the emails they wrote, and it's like, wow, you know, and it's written, and you read this 1 year later, they're like, wow, they're saying those things against me just for the money, for the ambition, to catch the result, to steal, you know. So my agreement, and I'll explain this because I need to explain this to everybody involved. It's a termination contract agreement. That's the main principle, also with Thailand, also with the other company in Brazil, also with the other company in Texas. It's also with the new case that just started, also in Brazil. It's a new case. It's a termination contract agreement. Nowadays, let's see, the law has the same principles, but it's stealing, theft, betraying, okay, embezzlement. That's kind of the main principles of what's right, what's wrong, and that's why the law is there, what's why the police is there, what's it to avoid problems and put justice someplace. But some things that they change as they go, and the culture changes and people change. One of the changes nowadays is that the communication is very tricky. So you need to understand what that person has answered, because this person is just not in your face. Okay, so you need to understand. So based on behaviors and putting that together, okay, you understand what they're answering to you back. For example, Mark Zuckerberg, and I say Mark Zuckerberg not because I know him, but because he's the owner of Facebook. So anytime I work on Facebook, I'm working for Mark Zuckerberg. He may have 10,000 employees, but that's the owner, okay? So he answers like, I was blocked from posting in groups there. So you're blocked from posting in groups. What I understand is that, okay, so he does not want me to work posting and creating contents for groups, just on my own channel. Do you understand? You need to translate, because nowadays that's how the communication is done. It's not that Mark Zuckerberg is going to call you and say, look, you know what, I'm not happy with your idea of doing this, so but please would you just do this. They don't, so they just send this. So that's one case which is easier for everybody to understand. But on this slate business, for example, we need to put together like why they do not reply, and then why once we push and we put pressure to get a response, then we get a response, and then we need to put all those things together. It's a lot of work. Anybody who works with law now see that they sold to the world that the internet and the emails are going to be this fantastic way of saving paper and time and everything, but now everything's so complicated, and every time you have a dispute you have to print such a massive amount of documentation that you need to put together. There was email from this day, an email from that day, and then you put it. It's so much work and paperwork that I do try to keep it short, but it's very difficult. And also in this particular lawsuit of the looting, it's very difficult because that involved different companies, and I need to put all the paperwork together. I need to file it in different jurisdictions like Thailand. I need to file it in Ireland, in Thailand, But then in Ireland, the embassy that works for Thailand is in London, so then I need to send all the paperwork to London. But then my company is in the USA, so I need to file it in America and send to the embassies because it involves the commercial relationship between Thailand and the USA first, because I work and operate in Thailand as an American company, and the company that has been defrauded and robbed, it's an American company, so it's of interest of the Department of Trade in the USA promotions and investment between Thailand and the USA, because why? For what reason? There is no safety for American businessmen when they go to Thailand to do business and buy and promote Thai-made products. Like why the owners of those rice mills, why they're so why they treat American business owners like so bad, so poorly, but they do accept our business. It's not that they do not want to sell to us, it's just do not want us to make money. That's the problem with Thailand. It's like they want, yes, it's me. Like they just want to slave us, to want to embezzle us and make us work for free in Thailand. And that's a big point of contradiction that usually the proper way, I'm saying on a government level, because I want to explain this, because a lot of things, what we do is based on the rules that are out there. Why I'm doing business with Thailand, because I'm allowed to go. There's even a free tax agreement between Thailand and America, so I understand that both countries have the American embassy in Bangkok is huge, so I understand friends, like it's for us to do business there, so then you go there, but it's not really on the person. So this needs to go, and also is being reported also to the American embassy in Bangkok, and everything is like, why we as American business owners, why we are allowed to do business in Bangkok, and at the same time why I cannot ship products from the USA, because there is also rice in the USA, so we need to develop the rice production in the USA so we're not exposed to the types of dangers that Thailand has been offering to business owners. It's just, I'm one of the victims, and it's just becoming more obvious now, because I try to do more business with new suppliers, following all the instructions from the attorneys working on these cases, and then I need a collateral, I need bank guarantee, I need safety, I need a collateral. Means just a safety, a contract with a collateral that I understand that I'm protected by this Thai supplier, that I'm not going to be robbed, that my products are not going to be falsified, that this Thai owner of a manufacturing is not going to use me, but they are straightforward. No, we have no interest. We're not going to sign anything. And so it's like, so they're doing this now, so that means, okay, no business. They do not want to do business with American companies, and that's one thing. Anyways, but going back to what I have, so this late, so we filed my paperwork. I hope somebody's going to pay today. Then it's going to be very important. That's late. Then on the cheese, we haven't done much. The police is working on that. The paperwork they were received was forwarded to a different station. They do that usually for safety reasons, so they don't go to the police you send them to. They send it to probably different, because it was from the investigation. This is more like white collar, and usually the problems that the Williams they caused is more white collar stuff, and probably the local station is more into regular small crimes, and this crimes is something that they can take 30 to 50 years of incarceration time. It's embezzlement or first felony, so so that's the thing that also the owners of those factories in Thailand, they need to understand, is like, you don't play with large figures. I mean, when you're talking business of 1 million, 8 million, 10 million, you better really watch out what you do, because there are enough elements for even the government of Thailand to really take action. It's not small pennies, and this is definitely affecting. I mean, it's definitely like this. Do they think somebody goes to Thailand and creates like over 20 millions worth of product, has probably like Thailandese, the jasmine rice? This jasmine rice is the top priority in the trade of Thailand. Do you think that Thai Rice Association is going to do what? Do nothing? That you see clients go in there shopping like 10, 20, 30 million dollars of produce being treated like shit, being like shit. You know, I have thousands of emails. They do not even answer my emails. And I was there, have thousands of photographs, investments. Like I invested from scratch. I took all the risk. I developed these bags. This company, for example, they still did not return the molds. This is my brand. And I'm going to show the other one, which is Brazil. Brazil's like it's. That's why I'm charging $300 a consultancy fee, you know, which means when somebody wants to buy from me, say, look, you need to deposit $300 and then we go from there. Because, for example, this current supplier of Brazil, which we terminated the contract, they terminated the contract last week. They were saying that they're going to use my bags for their own matter, whatever. Like the bags are ours because you didn't pay. And it's like, I had to answer these people, are you talking about $50 worth of plastic, the weight, or are you talking about the contents? Because that's a $20 million worth of contract. I sell that product $20 million a year. I have orders of $100,000, $300,000, $400,000 of that product. So how come you do not ship what we agreed? I wire about 350,000 reais, which is the Brazilian money. It's a lot of money. It's almost $500,000 to this company on trust, sending them money for them to ship after months of negotiations. They do not send me the documents. They sabotage my shipments. They sabotage my paperwork. They do all crazy stuff. They don't ship with it. And then after making me work for months, trying to solve the problem, giving them free consultancy, free training, free information. Now I have threats. This is what I harvest. This is another case, the new one. It's the Paulo Pinto case, like in Jorge Soares, a guy in Portugal. That's the current one. And then he's like, they send me threats that they are going to contact, but actually they already did, because I already got the answers from my customers about more slandering, more defamation. They went online. That's what everybody does. I was reading like Brian Phillips, the sales guy in Wisconsin, same thing. That's because he wrote an email. I was like, wow, I was reading, going through the process today. Slandering, defamation, criticizing, even, and they go personal. They say about who I am, what do I do, my personality, what I do, but like crazy stuff, crazy stuff. And you're just trying to do your work, and you're just trying to ship your product. It's a massive amount of paper. It's a massive amount of documents. Everything. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But the other product is the American Cowboy, which is another brand. But anyways, that's the one that's in Brazil now. But anyway, so these are the panorama of the lawsuits. There were more also with different cases. There are more with this, the other one, the slates, the cheese. Thailand tuna. There was more paperwork, and then sad news. I got a call from the Broward Car House. They received the first set of paperwork there in order this. The main picture now, because this is looting, and this is like 1 year and 3 months already, 4 months already. I have already reported when it was happening that this was looting. I'm saying looting like for over 1 year. It's criminal. It's looting. But now, 1 year later, based on the whole behavior, it's like, I mean, this is more than obvious. So now I'm in a position that when I contact the authorities, like, what are you guys doing? So when I call to the police now, I wouldn't be able to do this 1 year ago, okay? But now when I call an authority, like say, what's happening? I mean, these people are still embezzling people online. That company is still active. Go there. Their websites is still there. They are embezzling over contracts. They're stealing people over, and they're using the internet. They just go online, WhatsApp, you know what? What's the ICC report for? It's an international complaint crime organization from America. What is that for? All these people are fully reported, and I have cases, and I don't see any result. And it's 1 year now. Italy, they have that too. So this is the position now. So when I call now, I'm positive to really persuade and get results from the public organizations that need to get all this problem sorted out. So what I'm saying is that Criminal is a responsibility of the state. I do understand that we live times in history that the state is really reduced to nothing. And it's not only in the USA, it's almost everywhere. When you say, oh, this is Great Britain, oh, this is United Kingdom, this is... That used to be something very important like 20, 30 years ago when Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, those times. Nowadays, it's just entertainment business. So every time you see, oh, Prince Harry is doing that, it's nothing personal against them or that. It's just a time in history we are living. So this is one of the reasons why there is not enough security. That's why there's no safety. Why there's somebody problems like this and they go over and over. So you need to really go and push the authorities to work, because otherwise they're not going to work. Okay, so I'm doing all this and then falling and going. Okay, the panorama is still very rough. Okay, it was a decision that was taken here in Washington, D.C., was taking the reason that globalization should be the top priority. That was a decision that was made, I think, in the 90s or something. Internet and globalization should be the total priority of Washington, D.C. They did that. They created globalization. They put all that. I saw that everybody who had an adult life from the 90s now, to this past 20 years, have witnessed globalization and the internet. And now we're here surviving in this world of globalization and internet. And it is very rough. As I said before, it is a new dark age. It is very rough. So on what I do, and I know it's the same for other business, but what I do, it is definitely very rough. My clients now answering straight away, please pay $300 and I prepare a quotation and offer to you, because I cannot prepare quotations. And I gave one exception to this week, for example, for somebody that I thought was serious, that I thought was respectful, that I thought he wanted to do business, and he got all this, oh, I want to do business, this and that, and he knows me and they find me, and then I end up giving free consultancy. I prepared this offer, beautiful offer, the price he wanted to buy about $200,000 worth of tuna. Obviously, it's not a good moment, as none of my the new suppliers have signed any agreement still. I'm on negotiations for 2 or 3 weeks with the new suppliers of tuna and rice, and they just don't sign anything because it's rough on both sides. The market's rough. The suppliers do not want to pay. The suppliers do not want to pay nothing. They want everything online. Everybody's searching online and searching that they enter, and this order is going to show up. And maybe copy and paste. And I know it's the same. I mean, the law is the same. And we're trying to adapt well, how to survive in this mode. Because I know a lot of things I know, if you find them online and you read this, the laws are there. But on my business, I know for real cases, because I have a college degree on business. So I have not a law degree, but I have commercial law and international law. So I have that. I may have studied 1 year of that at college. I studied that on my MBA. I went to legal studies also in Ireland, and I have my own cases and my own career, because I do legal stuff since I was 16. And this week, for example, it came to me a new lawsuit that I started in 2011 in Argentina, and it's solved now. Not solved, but now it's an important step. It's some houses there, their inheritance, they're going to auction now. It was not my decision. I was overpowered by different members of my family and by the attorneys, and everybody overpowered me, and they took the decision the best was to send to auction, but not me. That was not. I insist as much as possible. But that was the case. And anyways, so this is how things are nowadays on the legal matters. I don't have anything more specific on business. There's all these customers that want to buy. My business is on hold. It's a crisis. As I said before, it's not only the market's very rough. It's a new dark age. Too much individualism. Everybody's just surviving. Nobody wants to take any risk. People do not even want to talk to strangers. Okay, that's all over the world. Another, make new friends, whatever, like forget about it. That's gone. That used to be 10 years ago. That's gone. Now you go interact online, chat somebody over the internet, and then face to face is a different scenario. Okay, that it's rough. So customers, they come, they want to talk, they want to make questions. I say, look, please pay the fee, and I need to know who you are. I cannot give prices, and everything's online. Just go there. You see the websites. You already know what I have, what I sell. So just tell me what you want and pay the deposit. You get an offer at least that covers the cost of preparing an offer. Uh, that makes sense, like a real one, not just whatever copy and paste from somebody, which is what they do with the ones they get from me. And like, so but when you say that, they don't understand then. And then I say, wow, I have more work now. Because now it's not only the quotation, I need to charge an additional $300 of consultancy fee. Which I'm saying that all over the time. I'm sorry, let's stop here and you pay $300. I give you the consultancy and then we go to what you want to talk about. Because I work with very popular topics, and international exports, traveling, food. So everybody, politics, everybody wants, but they want to discuss, they want to talk, have a conversation about that. But it's like, can we sit down and I'll explain geography, I'll explain behavior. So then once after that 1 hour that we understand that, then we go back to the discussion. But it's like, oh, you have to pay. Yes, you have to pay. That's how life works. You pay people work. You pay people work. It's not about paying with what. Okay, so that's the thing with the customers, and then the suppliers, like that I need to develop. That I actually, my business is ready. It's a running business. It's a $20 million running business, and I have customers, and they want to product, and they're waiting for product, and then I'm talking to the suppliers, and they just do not want to pay. They don't want to commit to anything. They do not want to pay. They want to find a way to falsify my products and copy what I do and find the phone number of my client and then call them direct and do it, slander and defamation and blah blah, and cut me off. As that's the typical crime nowadays in these ages of the internet and globalization, that they were orchestrated in Washington DC. And now everybody is swimming on this river of globalization, and that people like me has a massive amount of work but cannot charge, cannot get paid, because globalization means a lot of work for international, but the reason is to save costs and to reduce prosperity, to make the world more poor. It's not to really generate prosperity. It's not to make more people make money. It's to make few people make money and reduce costs. The reason the globalization and the internet received massive amounts of money is because the ruling class of the world believe in scarcity. It's a price and scarcity mentality. I work all over the world. I know it's price and scarcity. So the focus is price and scarcity. Price. And now it's all over the world. You see it everywhere. You want to go dinner, it's all about prices. The menu will tell you the prices straight away. This is cheaper and cheaper. So it's all about being cheaper. And being cheaper means removing labor, removing service, removing ingredients. Like even now I need to explain that I don't sell plastic rice because I try to keep a level, but there's rice made of plastic. And so that's the panorama now. Okay, to make it clear. Okay, globalization. We do not mean poor, emerging, whatever name people want to give to countries that are not in Europe or in the USA. Okay, France. Fantastic wine. It's a beautiful when there was this beautiful dinner. I had this dinner. They introduced me to this winery. I was referred by an acquaintance, and then they networking, and then I had this meeting. I have no complaints about the meeting. I have no complaints about the wine. Beautiful wine from beautiful Canton, Switzerland. Red. White wine, and I'll taste it. Beautiful. I want to work. Okay, let's work. Let's start a contract. So we do. They gave me China, Brazil, USA, and so I said, well, there's potential there to sell about 20,000 bottles. It's not a big. It's not that this is a very expensive, like $70 a bottle. So it's not that you're going to sell. But China and other countries, like, okay, let's do it. Oh, you have to pay. Yes, we have to pay. They're waiting for this savior that's going to really do magic and for free. That's the economy. You pay. There's tickets, the thrills. There's samples, there's talking, there's time, there's like a what. This has costs, and even an agreement. So I tried to sign an agreement, and there was no way to get an agreement signed. So no agreement signed, no collaterals. Result: recession, poverty, and the whole thing. At the same time, okay, we see there's recession here. Okay, it's like now people don't say recession because everybody's so used to it, but we like more since 2008. I think this is like 10 years of recession, and it's just the main reason. I already said that before. It's because the bankers, they end up trapped and victims of their own success. So now they own massive amount of state, but they don't generate wealth. They just waiting for other people to do things so they can trade, but nobody's doing anything because they create a system that you need the bankers to survive. You need the bankers to I have my clients, they want to do business with me, but they can't just come to me and pay. They need to go through a banker, and then the bankers, they will create such a very complex systems that I do not receive my payment. Actually, I do not. They create a system that when I receive a payment, I need to go find bankers to give me credit so I can access my own payment, which is on my name. As I said, I have money right now in London in my name, and I can't touch it because I need to really do magic to prevent. So it is a banking crisis all over the world, and the reason is they have no liquidity. The bankers are stuck with massive amount of state. That's why in almost every capital all over the world you saw those huge buildings. It's like, wow, that bank has that building. That's so powerful. But then you go, and it's like, but nobody works here. But how come this is a prime location? I mean, if I want to rent a store here and set up an office here, we're talking about like $300,000 a month, a year. It's a year, and this institution has all this massive building, but I go to the branch and there's only 2 people working. It's all dead. There's nobody. They're not paying rent here. These people are absolutely not paying rent. If they'll be paying rent, they would never have only 2 people in such a huge space. It's very simple to understand. But it is what it is. They end up stuck with this massive amount of state, but there's no life, there's no business. They're just stuck with all that, and they have no money to lend. So when you go there, especially like business accounts, it happened to me at Barclays here in the UK. You go there and like, oh, I also another bank. Which was another bank? What other bank was? It's not Wells Fargo. I have cases from America. I'm just saying UK because I'm here now, but in America I have with Wells Fargo. Citibank, they offer me something, but still. It's so complicated that once you really also that anyways it's all different versions. I do not want to specify any bank because I'm not comparing bank to bank services. I'm doing the entire industry is broke, okay? Because see that also with private bankers and everything. Okay, so that's with the this. So this. Attorneys, okay, unfortunately, the number one wall that we have is the wall of brokers, unfortunately, and again, this is not personal, it's not 1 or 2, it's things we see in the market. There's absolutely too many brokers in the market, brokers with power, brokers that they are in a position, they're brokers. We're talking 2019, maybe they were not brokers 10 years ago, but now they are brokers because the economy is driving to the professions to a system that you have to be a broker to be successful and have some results. And a broker is just somebody who puts people together and all that. Sometimes you can analyze Brian Phillips, the guy who scammed all the slate business last year, because he really put a lot of importance on his brokerage capacity, but you still need contents. I mean, if it's all brokers, somebody needs to do, otherwise Venezuela is the future. There's something way more broker than Venezuela or Israel and the Palestine. Israel and the Palestine is a classic case of brokerage. I mean, you have such a small portion of territory, and they're in wars for like 50, 60 years. They never come to an agreement. Why? That's all brokers. I've never been there, but I can see that. there's brokers and brokers and brokers and brokers, and they talk about this brokerage and they never come to an agreement. And then you see Venezuela, which is maybe domestic brokers, like everybody's a broker. So, and the problem with the brokers is like they business is to do the intermediation, the negotiation, to put the people together and make all the yes and no and no, but make sure that they get their payment. But once you have one in a group of 1,000, it's okay. But once we have like 100, like they just take over, and then you have all this what's happening in the market now. That you see all these brokers talk, and see that in politics. You see American politics, Brazilian politics, Argentinian politics, Italian politics, like everywhere, especially in the Western civilization. What's what I follow. I don't follow Asia much, but in Europe, in America, and South America. So this broker, like Brexit, it's like 3 years, everybody's just talking about Brexit, and then now there's a business which is to sell Brexit as a service. But life passes by, and Britain is just being taken by foreigners. It's probably, I mean, what I'm saying, something that everybody knows, that these are probably the last days of the Western civilization. Western civilization means like people like pale, this is even the looks of a Western. Like I'm a typical Western. I would be even more Western if I had blue eyes. I would be blonde, which is like the typical Western. But I have like a big eyes, fair skin. I'm tall. I'm linear. Okay, long arms. That's usually the physiognomy of somebody Western. And we speak usually English, Portuguese, Italian, German, French, which is this classic Western languages. We tend to follow Christianity. We believe in empathy. We have empathy to each other, and we have some things like space, usually like large houses with space, and we have dinner habits, like we want to have lunch, we want to have dinner, we want to hang out, we drink alcohol. So this we follow Christianity, number one, Catholicism, and all the other versions, Anglican, Protestant, Presbyterian. There's so many, and we work Monday through Fridays. We have a very well conscience of labor rights and middle class, and that's why my main point of conflict nowadays with globalization and we as a society, the Westerns becoming extinct, is every year my values are less popular. So I would talk about labor rights, and now like, what are you talking about? I mean, that's normal that you're not the owner of this rice mill. I mean, you work for $50 a month. I mean, why are you complaining about that? That's normal. That is how Thailand works. That's how India works. That's how Brazil works. That's how California has been for so many years, and they had this moment of Western, but they're coming back to the Mexican style, which is the few families, they run everything and everybody's poor. So that means the Western civilization. Because if somebody who follows the Western civilization knows that we had like the French Revolution. So usually until the 90s was something very important, like democracy, freedom, equality. Those were very important values. And family, work. Work was very serious because work was seen as something good. And that's why I get shocked still with the new normal, because usually what I do, like 20 years ago, I would have benefits. I would be like, if I started my career like 10 years before, like in the 80s, if I would be 10 years older now, I would be rich. Because until the 90s, people like me would get millions of dollars. I would get a massive amounts of dollars because I'm the guy who brings the prosperity. I'm the guy who introduces. I'm the guy who go and face new words and tell you that this is American products better than that one made in Mexico. And it's better. Why? Because we respect. And even now would explain things like this. Labor rights. No, because our workers, they're all very well treated. Because no, we don't kill the trees, we don't put chemicals on that. So now, because this family, they were very brave, they started this business in this year, and then I would have all this capacity of showing, so then bringing in a $500,000 contract and creating this relationship. Usually, in those days, I would have a prize. I would be like, wow, and I have a trophies with all that. I had colleagues that they had, and I used to have them like maybe 20 years ago. That will have like a bonus. You have like a a pride. But now, with the death of the Western civilization, the imposition of globalization, the brokers' culture, the lack of empathy, the money, the price mentality, the scarcity, the all sorts of that. Now it's the opposite. Now I'm seeing as a problem, like it's a problem, like you have to pay somebody, but then you still have all this necessity, because every time I show up, I am popular. And let's finish this video talking about the popular case, which is the Facebook and the social media. The voice is past you again. General statement, social media. So this is my statement again. It is moving. Okay. Today, this week, I have interviewed some journalists and some new other attorneys that they are more into the media and communications business. I have friends that they work with media. I'm explaining to them the concept, so to not, because especially as this is a very American thing that just spread us all over the world, and people do not understand much overseas, but the victims are mostly overseas, because Americans, they still have a militia that they do understand American models, but not Brazilians, not Europeans, they do not. So they just, and that's, so I think social media has damaged more outside the USA than in the USA. And so there are countries like Brazil, they have very serious laws. Italy, they have very serious, where the labor rights come from. So the thing is that my lawsuits against the social media companies, they go Brazil, which is where I lived. I'm putting like 2008 as the year that I really started to use all the social thing. Before, I don't think I was that connected before there. And so then, and there were, I think the internet, the first 10 years, that it was still this gray zone. But then from 2006 is when it started as a media business and competing with TV channels, newspapers, radio channels, and all these classic industries. And then this IT and media, and the things that all these companies, even those Alibaba.com, that they pretend to say they have a function, which is business or something, but no, the core business is entertainment, is industry. And so Alibaba.com, for example, that I'm an advertiser for 15 years now, they charge memberships, and they're very expensive now. And you go, you get the label, but then you go there's a lot of people selling, there's a lot of people buying, but they're not really committed with results. They're committed with making you stay as long as possible. They even send you the pop-ups, like Google style, with the pop-ups like, oh, your car is parked this way, and blah, blah, blah. And they send you a photograph of your car, or things like that. So they're doing the same thing, and they attention. They want you to be there connected, and they're measuring for how long you were there connected, because they make more money on that business, that you're connected, like a TV channel. It's publicity, it's advertising, it's memberships going on, and they want you to stay there. So they do not want you to sell. And me as an advertiser, I have a problem, because I want to make my clients leave the platform, as they call it, leave this internet channel. So, but they don't. They stay there, and they're chatting to everybody. Like, okay, I'm just chatting to like somebody who's chatting to thousands of people. Like, it's not going anywhere, and I'm paying. The time is running. It's like, wow, it's been 1 year and I didn't manage to sell, but I've been entertained for 1 year. Like, why? Because, unfortunately, going back to the lack of government we have nowadays, the governments are not really doing anything. This should be absolutely regulated. Should be regulated, and should have been regulated from day one, which is like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But they're not, so now we have all this mess. And that's where I come from. Okay, now that I know it's different, so it's been 1 year already that the cases are public, because it's on the Congress level in the USA. And then I have my cases, okay? So my cases like are all of them, Alibaba, Instagram, even YouTube, not the ones that I use for work, like this one. I think it's a different situations. Like, I should be paying them like an iCloud, that $3 a month, that I can have these videos there that I can share and use as I'm using now. But the ones that I posted that are public, for so long, they have costs of production. So all these videos, they need to be really studied and paid for. And the fact that they were not paid was corruption. And now it makes sense, Everybody said, but how come politicians like Lula in Brazil, like they robbed $100 billion, $100 billion. Lula robbed $100 billion. How come they were in power for so long? There's so like everybody was feeding them. And, well, because those are the politicians that allowed all these things to happen, because there's a lot of money going on. And another case, Obama. Everybody asked, but how come Obama was the president of the United States? Obama. This is how Obama works, okay? Like me, I'm talking things from my brain. I'm going to say things people are going to criticize. My hair is not fixed. Then I stop and I fix that. I forget. I say one thing, I forget. I may watch the videos. Oh, I forgot to say this. Obama, he'll be with this. Hello, how are you? I'm Obama. I'm very good, and I'm very good, and I love the world, and everybody's happy, and blah 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 blah. This will be his teleprompter. It's this size, just like this. It'll be here, but you seeing this, you would not see. His teleprompter was glass, so it was glass. Was very well orchestrated. Was this glass? So he would read, but not you. So you would look here, but you would see nothing like this. You would see nothing. Only paying attention, you may see a little line there, but he would be reading. So and they'll be training that he'll be reading and watching there, okay, to the camera. So you would believe he was saying this by heart. He's like, wow, that guy's a genius. He has such a line. He's just reading, because even if somebody is reading, but which is fine. Sometimes you have some things to say and you like to read instead of just saying, which is fine. But if you have it here and I read to you, it's a different message. Okay, he's saying something beautiful, but he's reading. Who wrote that? Maybe he didn't write it, but his secretary did. He's a good reader. I see. It's normal to read. I'm not saying against to read, but if you have something in the class, I mean, come on, right? And then you have all this madness in the world nowadays. Everybody's trying to do business, and you waste it, and then you have all the problems with social life and everything. Like bars, they're all gone. You go to restaurants, the restaurants are gone. The economy has changed. Habits have been erased. Meeting families, gatherings, the way everybody interact now is really not okay. There is a lot of lonely people because you feel you have friends, but they're not with you face to face. I don't know. Everybody agrees the life was better like 10 years ago. Going back to work, okay? Okay, so these lawsuits is there. Okay, it's 4 different lawsuits in my case, because in this from 2008 now, I have a residence in Brazil, residence in Miami, Florida, residence in Italy, and residence in Ireland. So it goes by the labor laws and the media laws in those 4 jurisdictions. So it's all the media companies through the internet in every jurisdiction. There's different. As this case has elements of fraud, embezzlement, it's not a common case of labor rights, so I don't think they expire. So it's nothing, but I didn't complain 3 years. Okay, but come on, I did not know the whole thing. So it's a victim too. And this is also a very big case, and I'm moving there. Okay, and I'm open. If nobody knows, we can do interviews, explain how it's going. There is the email, there is the folder. I will do videos just about that. Okay, so we do the proper advertising. I'll prepare it properly, so we have the package that we're selling. One of the things is the way the market's changing. I think LEGroup is going to be law and exports group because there's a lot of money to be done. And I'm saying money, I mean prosperity, work, paid work. Okay, work. On laws, international laws and exports. It's a mess as it is now. We have this big demand and we can't get paid, we can't be respected, we can't. So that's the priority, because I have a running business, okay, and it's been, for example, it's a fiasco. I've been talking to clients this month, and it's just a fiasco, guys. If you see what happened with the supplier, because I have a rice supplier in Brazil this year, how they behaved, I'm hours and hours of explanations to come 2 weeks ago with threats and blackmailing and like unbelievable, just because they have access to the internet and they feel entitled to contact your clients, because it's not. People need to understand how to transfer internet things into reality. So the fact that you have the email of a customer is the same thing that your neighbor next door to you. So it's the same. So, oh, that's his customer, and he lives across the door from. He lives just, you can knock his, to go there and say hello and hi. It's the same thing, but the internet creates some sort of fantasy that it's more than that, because you're going straight to the phone of that person and then you're like straight there, like. And so that's not really how it works, and that's not, and it's just crazy. It goes crazy, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just crime, it's stealing, it's horrible. Okay, so but that causes all that happens all the time. Their number one reason is because it's not regulated. So anybody can use the phone, anybody's not registered, it's not controlled, it was made on purpose. It's another case that's coming now. It was orchestrated from the beginning. The internet was made on purpose, and you see the results is that all these big 5 companies, 10 companies that they run the whole world, they do not have the internet problem. They never did, because they already have offices everywhere, so they don't have any problem. So the reason why the internet was available to anybody is just to create this confusion where we are now. So they will have no competition, and these companies, they became even bigger, more powerful, and that's the world how it is now. So the internet was part of the strategies that were used to create this illusion, and now everybody's lost. And then, but I'm not lost, and I'm still working, okay? And I'm still working, I'm still here seeing what next. And what next? Sono italiano, si sa che sono italiano. So io ho fatto delle presentazioni. I made the presentations in Italy, to be involved there in politics too, because all these cases I'm being there end up being like politics, because they need to really manage to really get solutions that's up to everybody. It's just the only thing is that that's another thing, which is going back to the death of the Western civilization. Something that we notice, unfortunately, in the Western world is that it's very hard to make things in practice, but things in practice, like everybody's a TV show, everybody talks, everybody explains, and you see that on all levels. A lot of times people blame, politicians are like that. No, they do represent the society they are involved. So what you see, it's because a lot of people are like them, and you see that really on life. In the USA, in America, in Brazil, in Argentina, like you to see that everywhere. So there's all this presentation, all this, and then it's okay, now sign this, now do this. They don't, and that's one of the reasons I think Donald Trump couldn't really be what everybody was expecting him to be, because the entire world is already on this tune, and so he just became this gray zone that he is nowadays. He didn't really, I think his first 6 months there was all this excitement that we were going to be back to the 90s and things would go back to what it was before the internet, before globalization, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and now it's just life just keep going, taking its course, and it's this dark age, okay, we live. And what I'm saying is that, going back to the politics, is that I talk and present myself, and I go, but you can't go to the next level of development. It's just this show, it's this entertainment. It's like, no, let's do it, let's get it done, let's get it solved. It's similar to these lawsuits. I mean, these lawsuits, they should be done in like, 2-3 months. I mean, their service, other defendants, they were serving the entire paper. That was all there. I mean, that's what's happened. That's the laws of your own country, and it's free. I'm not charging, and you have a letter that says you pay this bill, and you even getting a coupon from me because that is valid. Okay, I'm sending titles to the companies. In the case of the slate, because on the case of the slate, it's an agreement between all of them. So I was not I offered to them like it's just a termination of contract. I'm transferring the contract to you. You just pay my bill, and then which is the bill is there. It has to be paid, and I understand all of you guys want to continue the business because another is selling they don't want the business. They are saying they just do not want me, and I said okay, just here's my bill, and we're transferring the contract. We just paid in our paper, and that's the cost. And the supplier did not want to pay. Then the clients they did not pay. So they were like this ping pong. And me, they're like, and I said, look, somebody has to pay. I am in the USA, and the money comes from the USA. They are the clients, and then they are the ones represented by Brian Phillips who said that they want me out of the contract. So then I said, okay, so can you guys pay? So then I split the bill and I sent to all of them. But then I said, guys, this payment is on the contract of what you're buying, and at some point they agree that the supplier has to pay for this cost, and so I said okay, you guys get my payment, and I will send you a coupon, a title that says that you are entitled to a discount from this supplier on future orders. So but just close the guys. You guys took the decision to terminate the contract, pay the bill, and then I will send this agreement, okay, which is like, okay, I received. I'm not going to file lawsuits against you. I received the cut because it even says on my termination contract letter, the 7-day demand letter, and then you make the payment of that amount. I will send back a coupon that says it is here. If you buy from them, you are entitled. If the guy in Brazil is going to follow the law, is going to follow the commercial agreements, going to follow the agreements, and is going to continue to be serviced with this $1.5 million, $2 million contract, and it's like I can't pay the bill that's past due. Okay, it's the problem nowadays. Like guys, pay the bill. And then it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So. What else? There's something important to say. My focus is just to do as much as possible to see if we really close, because this is November already, half of November. Like I do need to finish these cases, and I have damages, losses. Like I should have made about $30-40 million this year just on tuna, on rice, on slates, and nail calcium cans, and I can't. It's long. It's just unbelievable. So all that is damages. That's losses. That's scam out. I have personal traumas and problems. Like I have to sell, and I don't want to. I have this thing that. So it is a bad case in scenario. All of them. Okay, Thailand's a horror show, and. I have some hope with India and Vietnam. We go into negotiations. They're more open. They have more empathy. They're not really that violent as they are in Brazil, America, and Thailand. Brazil, America, and Thailand. They're very violent. Europe is dead. I mean, I tried. There's only local business. I'm saying on what I do. I mean, I was in Italy. I see an obituary like it's death. I just see death in Italy. Like it's a death country. I'm not proud of it. I feel even guilty about it because I left. I'm not in Italy, okay? But everybody left and everybody's leaving. And then I went back and I had conversations with Italian politicians, and I got some feedback that they're not really that great. And I'll tell, okay? I offered all my services on my way, and they come and they say, you asking for political favors. There's a lot. Oh, no, there's a lot of people in the line waiting for political favors, and there's like, I'm not. Actually, I am the one offering the favor because I work and I give results, and I'm talking about turning a party from 10% to 50%. That's what I do. So I'm going to raise. I was, but that happened in the USA too. In 2014-15, friends of mine, they even offered me to work for the Republican Party there, and like, this guy's a sales guy, is going to give you a lot of votes and popularity and stuff. That's what he does. He does that for, and I was not hired. Okay, and I was not hired, and now it's similar things happening in Italy. Okay, but again, it's a dark age in history. It is a dark age in history. So, and dark age means a lot of corruption, a lot of money laundering, a lot of stealing, a lot of fraud, a lot of this, a lot of this. So usually those who make money are people doing bad things, and they are unpopular, and that's why they need brainwash. That's why you see in the USA, you see about the brainwash, like YouTube, the type of commercials they're putting. It's just because it's the makeup. You need a strong makeup. You need a mask to hide who you are. That's why nobody really knows who's running the world nowadays, because you cannot say the Macron, the Angela Merkel, the Donald Trump, they really run anything, okay? Because they are basically a mask. They're covering what's really behind them, and what's behind them is no good. And you can see that by what you see, and it's not even personal human stuff. You see the animals going extinct. You see the rainforest, they're just blowing it up on fire. You see that those rivers in Brazil, they'll just blow up the quarries there. You see this island of plastic in the Pacific that doesn't stop growing. You see the nuclear weapons there in Japan. You see it's not really a good scenario, and so let's hope something positive happens. But the scenario is still very, very rough. I do have more work than before, because it's so rough that there's more work for those who work. But the problem is to get paid. I need to get paid. I can't be just used, exploited, and and treated like. By the time somebody has to pay, you going through this abusive systems that you're like, wow, I'm just asking for a payment and I'm getting insults, and it's all sorts. Look, I tell you, from a $300 fee to get a coat to this guy that they owe me $100,000. The funniest one of all is when they steal $100,000. That happened with two of the defendants, Uchana from Mass Choices at Thailand, and also Jamie Williams. Jamie Williams also from Texas, and also the Alexandra from D'Ardozio there in Brazil. The three of them, they said they were going to send me to jail. Myself, they're going to put myself on jail. The other girl in Brazil, she said, and the other girl in Thailand, she said that there was nothing signed, that she had to pay. And the funny thing is that you report somebody you tell somebody that they're stealing, and they answer you back saying, look, if you report me to the police, I am going to put you in jail. But that's the dark ages we're living. It's like, you report that you're being robbed first to the person who's stealing. So you say you are still, you're fighting for your rights, for what you're entitled for. It's your contract. This is, it's everything you see. They're enjoying things that I created, and they're like, now I need to put the whole story together. And then they will say, then I'm asking for my payment, and they threaten you that if you insist on getting your payment, I'm going to put you in jail. And you're like, oh, I am telling that they are stealing, that I'm going to report them to the police, and they are saying that because I report them to the police, they are going to report me to the police because I'm reporting them to the police. And then you go to the police and to the attorneys and to the embassies and to everybody to report that you're being robbed and stolen and embezzled, the whole thing. And you need to sell that to them. That's the wackest part of the world nowadays. Is like, you have to sell lawsuits to attorneys. You need to sell crimes to police officers because nobody believes anything. So it's not that you just go to the police and you just say, look, I've been robbed, here's the paperwork, and wait for, and go back to your life. No, no. They will be in this watching universe and they'll be like, well, but let's see if you win the case, but why? But where do you live? And why are you saying this? It's bad, you know. The scenario is very, very bad, and but I'm a hard worker. I just see more work, and I continue to work. I continue my cases. I thought it would be faster. It's going very long. It's a lot of resources, and my cases are very expensive. Good attorneys, they would make over millions of dollars on this. All these cases, like big money. There's big money, big money, because they involve so many problems. And the factories, they have assets, you know, they have machinery, and so like they have how to pay. But the thing is that on this level of money, it's gangsters, you know, like you're talking to people that they handle millions of dollars and millions of dollars. It's very rough. It's really rough, very, very rough. And I don't know. Let's pray. Somebody was telling me today they are going to pray, and people are praying. I've heard from other people that they have these ideas of moving to the country, moving to creating new societies in the country. I have this idea too of putting the leftovers of what's left of the Western civilization, trying to put them together, put a group together, try to find ways of survive. I said that in a different video too. Like I prefer to stay away about the degradation. You know, like it's this is like it's a bit like the Titanic before hitting the iceberg. You know, it's this peaceful. Usually the hurricanes, you know, before they show up, they have this peaceful thing that everything seems dead. Everything is dead, and that's how we are for like 10 years now. It's like, what is coming, you know? And there's a lot of I heard that from several friends, you know, like that that it's maybe a new crash, you know, but the new crash is going to be social, so it's not going to be just, oh, now property is cheap and we can just pay cash and get property. It's going to be like with social convulsions and you know, attacks and lootings, and like the one that happened to me last year, but on a physical level even more, you know, like restaurants being robbed and people showing just breaking restaurants and stuff. I don't know, but something like it's still don't see any. I don't see anything positive. I don't see anything positive happening in the next in a short period of time. I don't see anything positive at all. But anyway, so I hope next week there is news about the lawsuits and something more concrete. It's still nothing really concrete, just negotiation, and unfortunately bad news. You know, this week was confirmed that the supplier was working this year took the decision to join the defendants team. They embezzled and they did fraud. It's the same crime. It's the same crime. It's an internet crime, opportunity crime, whatever. In this case is sabotage. It's very similar to the one I had in 2016. Like they sabotaged, they created this, and then they cut me off to to offer a solution and say that I'm the one who caused the problems that they caused, you know, and so that happened. So I gave up. I thought there was going to be more containers being shipped, and at this time also I don't really say like, oh, there are bad things that come for better, because sometimes it did happen, but I'm done. I'm done. I think this is just bad and going down the hill. When I say, I'm talking about the market. I'm not saying myself, not saying what I do. The market. It's getting more rough. And all right, so have a great weekend there. Okay, greetings here from LEGroup. LEGroup That's rice. Birthday Reach, that's Dutch. God, oh, I feel like this is some are done. Okay, so there are more cases. They have a sales woman that she is in the island. She's going to be there for 4 weeks. We agreed 2 days ago that she was going to inspect the premises and see what's happening with this rice. 26 kilos, 1,000 kilos of white rice, and she's going to do an inspection. It's very, very sad. It's very sad. It's there. Just rice, just food. I was working with the GoFundMe now. There's more paperwork to be done to get the donations, and it's really what a fiasco. What a fiasco. There in this island, the Caribbean, food. You can't really get just a payment. I'm selling that half off, like 1 full year. All I get is people asking me to send money, and it just got more intense because the police was involved again, and the police doesn't do anything, and then they're there, and then there's an attorney saying that she wants cash to take care of the problem, and then there was the one who's doing extortions. He's the guy who owns the warehouses. He's extortion. What he's doing, he's also sabotaging the cell and asking me to send money. Send money. Because the problem of being a Western is that we are seen as a source. That's a big problem we have, and it also matches why our civilization is coming to an end. It's because we need help, but we can't get help because we are a source. So we just like laugh whatever's left. So, but still, people still see us as a source of solutions, a source of work, a source of money. So then they come to us. We have to pay, but nobody pays us. There's some that we don't need. It was orchestrated in Washington, in Brussels. They created this propaganda all over the world that whatever, because they need to sell the American dream. They need to sell the European dream to pretend that everybody here is happy and successful. But they do that. It's orchestrated, whatever reason, whatever the money they're making out of this. I don't know, it's the logic, but we here on the battlefield, we have our business. We have this image that we are a source. So we're a source. What can we do? So I had to pay. Nobody has to pay you. So if you charge, you're like, that's how life works. I have my clients and I have my obligations, so I receive and I pay. I mean, there's no what other option. But I'm from Europe. I'm from America. That means I already have it. I have to share and to distribute. I saw that in the San Martin. It was very interesting because I noticed that very clear, because I'm American and European. So which is an Argentinian combination, American European. Welcome to Argentina. So we are a source no matter what. So when they saw me as an American, when they understood me as an American, they would they would take me as a source on business, on that, asking me for terms, not paying me, asking me for discount, explain why they have no means to pay. And when they would see me as an European, would be more like charity, like work, give, service, explain, but both means we no pay you. We're not going to pay for anything. You just me, give. If it's not on business, it's on social, but means just give. And we are not going to give anything back. We are going to complain that you didn't give enough, and we're going to sabotage if you try to do it, and we will. But we want to move to Europe. But we want to live in the USA. But we want to know how is the visa that we want to. That's another thing that I have all the time on this international work, which is visas, which is a problem that I do, because I don't want to talk about visas, but that happens often, that you try to talk about work or something, and they will twist that they want to emigrate and move, even through marrying you or getting a job with you. It's really crazy. But I tell you also, another on the traumas I have being a sales guy is that it's sex. sex. Because what happens? That goes also to the problem with all these cases last year. Uh, Me, being the sales guy, you have to be good looking, attractive, friendly, and you most of the times you have that naturally. It's genuine. It's not the successful ones. Okay, like when you, because you enjoy being an attraction, you enjoy entertaining, you enjoy giving happiness and being popular, like you enjoy. And then you have this door open. That's very common to everybody who works with sales. And then you explain your product. So Augustine was here, and they say, when you come back, and all right, I'll buy this from you. And like, that's what you do. And then, but then with the problems that I had, I have been very vulnerable, because I am high end. I'm a high end sales guy. Like, I sell things that have a higher end. Since the beginning of my career, I'm already used to work with $1 million contracts, speak several languages. So I'm this rich guy from this classy lifestyle. I come from a classy life. My family, they were wealthy. Okay, so we have all these manners that it's just on you. You were raised that way, so you say please, okay, even you have your temper or something, but everybody can see you come from an upper class, that you manage money, and that you're good looking. And that made me exposed, and I've been robbed. I was even robbed personally in San Martin. Like, somebody gave me how do you say that, when they like this, they got from my neck, they robbed my cell phones, they robbed my wallets. I had that. I have invitations for sex. Not only one time. The last time was last week, that they mentioned having sex with me. People having sex. That I'm explaining I have a problem. They seem unavailable, and then they ask for sex. And then I'm like, wow. Like, you explain that whole thing, and now somebody wants to take advantage to try to have a relationship with me so they can help me. So this is the level of problems that I have been facing for over 1 year. And I cry a lot, okay? I cry a lot. I have traumas. I go to bookstores, to libraries. I have traumas. I will cry. Languages, I speak several languages. Like, I feel like stupid. Like, why do I speak several languages? Why do I study all these languages? Like, and I don't get my payments. I treated like shit. People do not understand me. I'm just this wacko who has these languages all the time, knows the word, but he has no money. He's living on favor. I'm having a lot that people take me as a scammer, because it's like, how do you do all this and then you have, but I was robbed, and then it's been 1.5 years now, and I keep explaining, and I work all over the world, so I got stuck in Europe, and I'm not complaining about where I am right now, but it's like a stranding. I'm stranded here because I'm managing the resources a lot. It's not that I can really be freely traveling. I'm waiting for my payments, and there members of my family that are very old that I should go visit. I have a travel to Argentina plan scheduled last year. I was going to Argentina. I have also to the USA. I was going to parts of Brazil to visit family, friends. And I go. It's been 2 years. I just don't go there, and that's part of my career, part of my work, that I go there every now and then. And then there's the relative. They just passed away. I have this auction. I should be in Argentina in 2 weeks with $300,000 in my pocket, and that's not happening. And then I'm really talking to police officers, and I have such a stupid conversation with Broward Courthouse this week, which is like stupid, that they were like, stupid. There's a document there that I'm applying for legal aid, that I've been robbed. There are copies of police reports. There's copy of the documentation, copies of the American Embassy in Abu Dhabi. And I have to do all the paperwork in Bangkok and this in Brazil. And then she's like, "Do you want here to file a complaint, or do you want, like, making me questions and like, and this, it's unbelievable, but it's unbelievable and unbelievable. I find it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, And so I'm here recording these videos, and I know my rights, and I keep sharing them. These videos, I'm not sharing them public, because I don't think this is of this one. I'm not making it for public broadcasting, but as I said before, they're sent as unlisted, so everybody that has the link can watch it. And but this is more being sent just to attorneys, to police stations, to embassies and chambers of commerce, like institutions that they are related to this. I give them any permission to really use it. Even if you have a meeting to explain a case, it's no problem. I filed a lot of paperwork this week at the Better Business Bureau, which is an institution, and also the ICC. .com. There are institutions from the USA, and they are to help cases like this. And there you check the box that you're okay for all the material to be used on interviews and in media. I think it is. These are all hot topics, especially Thailand, for example. Like, everybody has this big question mark about Thailand, and so I know it was on the business level, the reality, other countries, so America, everybody kind of know everything, but so they are available. But I do ask to please, that's why my brain's there, like, mention LEGroup, mention Augustin Thomas O'Brien Caceres or Caceres, like, it's okay. I just like to be my name mentioned, because I don't know. I mean, I may have, I don't know. You're on the internet for so many years, like, people may be using. I have on the case with the Mark Zuckerberg, for example. They just suspended my previous channel. That's 11 years of content. It's like, what justice system is this? What laws? I mean, where are the laws? Like, that a company can just do this. They just take your entire content, and they, like, it's my content and I don't have access to it. It's talking about the current account, but the one before, like, no, you terminate a contract, you send, and I sent this communication to them like a month ago. They do not even reply. I do get some responses from YouTube and Google a few times, and the responses are also, like, so primitive. They're so primitive, and I think about, how does the government allows that? Like, how a company that has this importance, like thousands of employees, billions of dollars of cash flow, how come they have a receipt that's just, so it's a blank paper that says Google receipts, I pay you 100, that's it. There's an address, and finish. There's nothing else. Like, nothing. It's just like a piece of paper, as simple as possible. I mean, what is this? That you have a company that takes over 11 years of contents, they just suspend, and you go and they're like, oh, let us know if you believe this is by mistake. Okay, we send you an email shortly. The shortly in this case is like 2 months. 2 months, the shortly. 2 months, ok? So, guarda, adesso finisco anche in italiano. Un saluto a tutti quelli che parlano italiano. Un saludo a todos los que hablan espanhol. Um abraço para todo mundo que fala português. Saudações para os que falam português. Auf Wiedersehen für deutsche Sprachen, Leute. Und salut pour tous les gens qui parlent français. Je parle français aussi. Je parle français avec mes clients à Haïti, et qui dit ce matin trouver à travailler avec les riz. Mais je ne vais pas faire ces vidéos in different langues. I want to make it just in English, because I don't want to make 5 videos again, as I did a few weeks ago. And alright, so let's hope for the best, okay? Let's hope for the best. Let's hope something new shows up, because it's really very bad as it is. Alright, cheers, have a great weekend.